Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running the theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one." Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess what's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one."
Hey guys, it's Squid. Happy Wednesday, I think. I don't know what freaking day it is. And I just realized that I don't know where my phone is. And to me, that's like a cardinal sin. Hope everybody is doing well. It's been another crazy day in the Squid household. I started my day at 3 a.m. I made this stream, looked up these documents at 3:30. Made my thumbnails, 3:30. Did the dishes, 4 o'clock. Did the laundry, 4 o'clock. Went to the gym. I've been up for a while. Got a lot of shit done. Mr. Squid did go to work today. Still feeling like smacked ass. But he is bound and determined to go to work today. So he went, and we all woke up. Hey Jeffrey, before I get going, when's my next Reddit? It's gonna be probably tomorrow because we've been so serious lately that we need some levity and comedy. The funny thing is I am fine. I'm a little tired, but not what you would think. Somebody wants to take over. But I did realize that I forgot my I have no idea where my phone is. Can you get down, please? Okay. Anyway. Say you want to say hi? Hi. Yeah. Say I'm bound and determined to get into everything. I even had to climb up on a ladder and fix something today. That's the kind of day we're having. Did squats in the gym, not worth recording. Felt like crap. Hi to everybody who's here. Sorry I'm not saying hi to you individually. There's just so many of you here, but I do appreciate each and every one of you. Cynthia, thank you for doing your modelly stuff. And Gail, thank you for being my grifter. My grifter extraordinaire. Ma'am. Can I have my mic, please? You can play with that, but you got to play with it down there. Oh, no. So we do have a couple of documents. They are, one is 30 pages. They're Randy's responses to people mistake me for a lawyer, Flesa. So, if y'all, lady, you just hit my mouse and closed that. I needed that. Yeah, I needed that window. So she just closed the document that I needed. So bear with me. Bear with me. And hey, Balin. Somebody just closed the document that I needed. Ma'am. All right. So the first one is Randy's response to Flesa. It is 30 pages. So we are going to get straight into it. We are not wasting time. Yeah, I can't believe baseball season is over with, but my Brewers are killing it. And it's college football season. So, yeah, you know. Baby Squid said, not today. Yeah. It is my birthday month, though. So, if you see me grifting a little bit more this month, I'm bound and determined to lose 10 pounds by my birthday. So, there will be more workout content. Also, oh, yes. And yesterday's stream, Angel, you have to get down. I'm sorry. It's okay. Kiss. I love you. You just have to get down. The AI. I did pay for this server, this website that I'm using. I am running the documents through AI or an AI checker to see what, if any of the documents are written with AI or assist from AI. I am not discriminating against the defendants in this case or these cases. I am running everybody's documents, including the judge. Angel, you're fine. You have to stay down. You have to stay down. Well, if you're going to stay here, you're going to stay still. Yeah, that's the problem. Oh, yes. And if y'all could hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you hate me, hit that dislike button too, because you're still here watching. And if you hate me, but you watch everything I do, you're either a stalker or you're a huge fan. I'm not really sure. I've lost 27 pounds already. My main goal is 102 more. Nice job. Losing weight is not easy. Make a pact, 10 pounds this month, all in. No. So if it is my birthday month, bound and determined to lose 10 pounds this month, because I've stalled. I hang out around the same 5 pound window. But I am running the documents through that program was quite expensive. It's a website. I paid for the year and it was like $100 and some odd. So, yeah, that was cheaper than $21 a month. But, yeah. We love all our lurkers. Stalkers, we tolerate, we appreciate. Yeah, all I can do is laugh. And it's just one of those things where I learned a long time ago that even people you love dearly have negative thoughts about you at least once a day. How often do we think of our spouse and we go, oh, I wish you'd listen more. Oh, you drive me nuts. My toddler, I love her with all of my heart. I love her to death. But sometimes I'm like, will you freaking listen to me? So if I tolerate and I don't care about when people I love and people who love me have negative thoughts about me, why do I care about, like, the guy who was in here yesterday, whatever his name was, he acted like I was supposed to care that he hated me, Spawn, and My Pretty all streaming together. And I'm like, dude, I didn't know who you were before you decided to run your trap. Like, okay, hate me. There's millions and billions of people in this world. Not everybody's going to get along. You know, it happens. Did anyone hear someone called CPS on Tug? I saw his Facebook post about it. Why? I'm not, I'm pissed, because even the threat from Bubbles, for me, I went and filed a police report, even with the threat that was back in like November of last year, October of last year. I had filed a police report at the threat of someone calling CPS on me. So, and that pissed me off beyond belief. I cannot imagine how incredibly angry he must be. And honestly, I don't blame him. There's nothing worse than people accusing you of shit that you didn't do just because they don't like your personality or they don't like what you're talking about on your channel. It's like, there's people out there, as Camelot puts it, there is people out there who wish death on people just because they're on the internet. It's the dumbest freaking thing. Yeah, I'm an ethical stalker and grifter. I'm a horrible grifter. I have this stuff like the Amazon list and stuff because people ask for it, and it's like the easy way where I can go, well, here, and I don't have to like a joke about breadstick money or cockroach cash or anything like that. No offense to the people who can. You do you, boo-boo. I just feel awkward and stupid. And like, no, it's just not my, I watch for only one reason. Can't stand the content. Yeah, I don't know. I just learned a long time ago that people you love have negative thoughts about you. So if we don't care about those thoughts, you know, how often do we tell our spouse, oh, you drive me nuts? Or I wish you'd stop doing this, or this pisses me off, or this does this. And if we tolerate and can deal with that from people we love, why should we care when it happens from someone who we don't even know exists? Some random person on the internet. Yeah, I wonder if my fan John Cook will show up. I think I have it on subscribers only mode. So I noticed that I go up like 3 or 4 subscribers every time and then come down like 2. So I know there's a couple people who only subscribe so they can talk in the chat and then they unsubscribe for me. So, which is pretty normal. All right, let's get into this. Ma'am, can I read now? Excuse you. Oh, girl. All right. And because this is 31 pages, we are going to not cherry pick, but we are going to no, I'm not stopping nothing. You're fine. You got to go down on the ground and play. Can you do that? Oh. All right. Exactly. John Cook or someone pretending to be John Cook. I'm not convinced that it's him. Showed up in here yesterday. I don't know. Plaintiff's response in opposition to defendant Lee's amended motion to dismiss. Document 87. In this economy, bribery may get the audio recording of the person that CPS call. Angel, you got to get down. You can't sit on my lap and switch sides so often. She wants to sit down low, but she slides, and then she slides off, and then she wonders why she's on the floor. Toddler. It's set for 10 minutes. You should set it to 24 hours. No, from what I understand, the fleas do that, and I don't want to be like them. Plaintiff and Elephant Shoe respectfully submit this response. I'm going to kind of skip through the stuff that we blatantly, obviously already know over the past year and a half. All right. Plaintiff complaint contains sufficient factual allegations to satisfy the applicable pleading standards, whether under Rule 8A or 9B. Lee asserts that the complaint fails to state a claim under the Lanham Act. Lee contends that the complaint does not sufficiently allege tortious interference with business relationships or civil conspiracy, which we kind of proved was stupid because she mentioned something about having to, like, we didn't write it down or have an agreement or written down agreement, and you don't have to. After discovery, what's the next process? Generally, evidentiary hearings. Um, it it's all dependent on what the judge wants to do. If discovery is bring it here. If discovery is done and he looks at everything and he's like, no, like then people can file motions to dismiss because there's no evidence. But well, this is federal 2. This was this year, but federal 1 was March of last year, May of last year, something like that. There you go. So yeah, we're at like a year and a half for Fed 1. And hey, Jen, how are you today? Ooh. Sorry, I was about to sneeze and I didn't want to sneeze into the microphone. Lee argues the complaint contains conclusory allegations, lacks factual specificity. Lee asserts that the statements attributed to her are non-actionable opinions and rhetorical hyperbole protected under the First Amendment. Please do not step on your iPad, girl. As demonstrated below, plaintiff's complaint sufficiently pleads claims under the Unfair Trade Practices Act, Lanham Act, tortious interference, and civil conspiracy. Under FRCP 8A2, complaint must contain short and plain statement of the claim showing that the pleader is entitled to relief. Detailed factual allegations are not required. And this is what everybody's trying to get Jeremy to do in the initial complaint. And it's like, he doesn't have to. By the rules, he doesn't have to. That's what trial is for. That's what discovery is for. Like, this is what it... Angel, I just unlocked it. If you're either going to use it, and I will unlock it, or you are not going to use it, which either one is fine. But we got to choose. There you go. You're either going to use it. If it locks again, I'm not unlocking it. Oy. It's been a day, Jen. It's been a day. 31 pages that came from Pacer. Please give any extra Starbucks money to pay down the national Pacer debt. That's good as looming every month. Ran in. I was there. Hey, Dad. Dad can tell you I was there. My dad can tell you the 800 other things I've done today. Yeah, right? Jeremy doesn't have to show his hand yet. And they're all trying to get him to show his hand. And he doesn't have to. Like, that's the benefit of being the plaintiff, is you don't have to. Not, at least not in your initial complaint. But the rule does call for sufficient facts. Yes, you have to have facts, but you don't have to show all your cards. Accept it as true to state a claim to relief that is plausible on its face. Bell v. Twombly, everybody loves that case. A claim has facial plausibility when the pleaded factual content allows the court to draw a reasonable inference that the defendant is liable for the misconduct alleged. There's the first problem. This word reasonable, apparently a lot of people do not fall under this reasonable person category or reasonable inference. Yeah, and right now I'm adulting for 2. Yeah, I'm adulting for 2 because we're one man down. We're one man down. He's at work today, but he shouldn't have gone to work today. But determining whether a complaint states a plausible claim is context specific, requiring the reviewing court to draw on its experience and common sense. There's that curse word again. There is that curse word. Hold on 1 second. Go get it. She just went to look for my phone. So you can call my phone and see if she can find it because the ringer's on. Like shit. Like shit, but he has a procedure next week and we'll know more then. Until then, it's just he'll probably get home, he'll eat something, he'll take a shower, he'll snuggle with her for a few minutes, and he'll take his medication and go to bed. Yeah. Is there some sort of a schedule in Fed 1, Fed 2, or is it just motions now, depositions, evidence? There was a schedule. There was an initial, a final scheduling order that the judge put in back in May or April, where he was literally saying, this is the date for this. This is the date mediation has to be complete. This is the date or discovery has to be complete. This is the day we're going to do jury selection. This is the date of the trial. I believe it was document, let's see. Let me make this big. I renamed everything. That's part of what I did this morning too, so I can see my names are longer for documents. So I can actually tell you a little bit about what's in it and not just like what number it is. I think it was 40 something. Fed 1. There was, and I haven't changed them all. So final scheduling order was 11/12/24. Yeah. So November 12th of 24 was when he made this final scheduling order, which was supposed to keep everything on track. And then, you know, people get all sidetracked and shit and want to delay and throw wrenches into the mix, and then we get whatever shit show we've arrived at. I honestly, I'm not exactly sure if this is even considered a shit show. I think shit show was like 6 months ago. If anybody has so now what happens? Now the judge needs to finally put his foot up people's butts and get him in gear. That's what needs to happen. But right now, Fed 1 is still delayed or still stayed because of the bankruptcy, because until somebody alerts the judge that the bankruptcy has been discharged, technically it's still an ongoing stay. Somebody needs to write an order letting the judge know. And Randy probably will. He had these motions to get done first. These were slightly more important because these had a deadline. That doesn't really have a deadline because they were expecting it to take months. These had a deadline. You have to get these in by, I think, yesterday or today. So these, yeah. Turd sandwich being eaten in little bites. Yeah. I would think so, but I mean, I would think her pro se is really weird to me, because if she had a lawyer, I would say yes. But because she's pro se, you tend to get away with more because you're not a lawyer. Why it's one of the slight benefits of being pro se is you get a little more leeway because you're not a lawyer. But that would be a lawyer question. And I can't give you an accurate answer. I would believe so, but especially since she missed the deadline for refiling, now she kind of does. But, you know, it would be that common sense. But if you're going to delay, you're going to wait until somebody else does. And then claim you did nothing wrong and you didn't know. There's the playbook. I mean, just in case nobody else knew. I mean, we all know this, right? That's the playbook. You wait until Randy does it, and then you claim that, oh, I don't know, I'm pro se. Yeah. Lee's motion should be denied in its entirety. Complainant states claim under the Federal Trade Protection Act. So we've already read what it is. Rule 9B does not automatically apply to all Trade Practice Act claims. Claims based on unfair practices are not subject to Rule 9b. This is because the FDUTPA, I hate that act. That's the dumbest freaking thing. And I hate calling it FDUPTA. It's just stupid. Prohibits unfair methods of competition, unconscionable acts or practices, and unfair deceptive acts or practices in the conduct of any trade or commerce. Florida Statute 501.204. The statute is to be considered liberally to protect consumers and legitimate business enterprises. Importantly, claims can be based on either deceptive or unfair practices. Federal courts have recognized that not all claims must meet the heightened pleading standard of Rule 9b. There's her entire argument. Yeah, and I'm assuming that she either didn't try to get a lawyer, or the lawyers that she did talk to literally looked at this case and were like, no. You can't pay me. I'm not taking this on contingency because your facts suck. Good luck. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let me see. Claims can be based on deceptive or unfair practices that do not involve fraud. Hearst versus Silver Sea Cruises, U.S. District, Southern District of Florida, March 5th, 2015. This distinction is critical because Rule 9b's heightened pleading requirements apply specifically to claims of fraud or mistake. Yeah, nothing here is a mistake. All this shit is intentional. All this is intentional. Ugh. It is well settled, however, that Rule 9b, which requires... Angel, did you find my phone? Hi, do you have my phone? She doesn't have it. Which requires that allegations of fraud be stated with particularity, must be harmonized with Rule 8a, which requires only, let there be light, a short and plain statement of the claim. The 11th Circuit has held that Rule 9b must not be read to abrogate Rule 8. Mobile Oil versus Dade County Soil Management. Quoting Freelander v. Nims. And for time's sake, these are the case laws. I'm going to skip reading the citations. This is Flea. It is 31 pages, so we are going to... I'm going to read all of it, but I'm going to skip certain things like reading the case law just for you know. Wait, well. All right. Because fair notice is perhaps the most basic consideration underlying Rule 9b, the plaintiff who pleads fraud must reasonably notify the defendants of their purported role in the scheme. Blue Cross Blue Shield needed a internal quotation omitted. Accordingly, Rule 9b is satisfied if the complaint sets forth 1, precisely what statements were made and in what documents, oral representations, or what omissions were made, and 2, the time and place of each such statement and the person responsible for making, or in the case of omissions, not making, same, and 3, the content of such statements and the manner in which they misled the plaintiff, and 4, what the defendants obtained as a consequence of the fraud. These factors are not exclusive, however, and plaintiff may satisfy Rule 9b's particularity requirements through alternative means. Essentially, the requirements of Rule 9b are satisfied if the complaint provides a reasonable delineation of the underlying acts and transactions allegedly constituting fraud, such that the defendants have fair notice of the nature of plaintiff's claim and the grounds upon which it's based. All right. Federal district courts in Florida are split on whether the heightened pleading requirements of Rule 9b are applicable to the Trade Practice Act claims. State Farm v. Performance Orthopedics. While some courts have applied Rule 9b to claims that sound in fraud, others have recognized that Trade Practice Act claims premised solely or primarily on unfair trade practices might not be subject to heightened pleading requirements. So basically, she wrong. She wrong. Pretend that like button is sand. Now go pound sand. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Dad, thanks. Only half of you hit the like button. What's up with that? Don't be lazy. The like button. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. Oh, and everybody wish Papa Squid a happy birthday. His birthday's on Saturday. Other courts have ruled categorically that held that Rule 9b does not apply to claims under Trade Practices Act because, unlike fraud, a party asserting a deceptive Trade Practice Act claim need not show actual reliance on the representation or omission at issue. This court joined several decisions in holding that the requirements of Rule 9b categorically do not apply to claims under the Trade Practice Act. This requirement of Rule 9b do not apply. Finding that Rule 9b's pleading requirements do not apply to constructive fraud in the bankruptcy context because constructive fraud only has to do with the transfer's financial condition and the sufficiency of the consideration provided by the transferee, not the traditional elements of fraud. All right, I have to do something real quick. Ugh. And thank you, Heroes Chris, for the one gifted Squid Pro Quo membership. And I don't have my dashboard open. I was busy. So although I was on the computer early this morning, I did not open anything. Come on. It'd be nice if it loads, right? There we go. So I can't see anything from the troll room's perspective and the chat. There we go. Hey, Mo Raid. Hey, Mo Raiders. Hope everybody is doing well. Somebody's got jokes. Speaking of that, I do need to go grab my phone because I'm going to have to send somebody a message here soon. And I need to make sure that I have my phone so I don't F it up. I will be right back in a hot second and we will continue at even if Rule 9b applies. And Devil Dog Cody, you've got jokes today. Haha, go eat a crayon.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts run.
Thank you for your patience. The little wouldn't have been able to find it if she was looking for it. It was on top of the washer. So no wonder she came back empty-handed. Oh, Slug, shut up. Shut up. Crayons are so expensive now, only eat them on special occasions. And hey, Slug, how are you? Yeah. You're hilarious. All right, let's get back into this. We have 184 people here and 101 likes. Can we get that up to like 140? Maybe. Maybe. Slug, you know I turned 40 this year, right? Or in like 3 weeks. So, yeah, you owe me. All right. Let's get back into this. Alrighty. Grandma moment. Shut up, Slug. You're mean to me today. So mean to me every day. All right. Even if Rule 9b applies, plaintiffs have met its requirements. Even if the court determines Rule 9b applies, the complaint satisfies the heightened pleading standards. Rule 9b requires that, in alleging fraud or mistake, a party must state with a particularity the circumstances constituting the fraud or mistake. However, malice, intent, knowledge, and other conditions of a person's mind may be alleged generally. You know. Plaintiff's complaint contains over 150 paragraphs of factual allegations, including, without limitation, detailed allegations regarding Lee's specific acts in paragraphs 1 through 6, 18 through 54, and paragraphs 165 through 172, which address Lee's specific acts. Yeah. I'm not reading any more of your chat, Slug, unless they're in a super chat. Because you're mean. These allegations are more than sufficient to put Lee on notice of the claims against her and the grounds upon which they rest, and reasonably notify Lee of her purported role in the scheme. Plaintiffs have adequately alleged deceptive and unfair practices. Plaintiff's complaint alleges that Lee engaged in unconscionable, unfair, and deceptive acts or practices that offend established public policy and are immoral. Ain't that the truth? Unethical. Yeah. Unscrupulous. Gotta love the wording here. And substantially injurious to consumers, that are likely to deceive a consumer acting reasonably in the same circumstances, and that caused injury or detriment to consumers. These allegations track the language of the Trade Practices Act and provide a sufficient basis for plaintiff's claims. The complaint further alleges that Lee continues to engage in such false and deceptive marketing campaigns and fraudulent representations for the purpose of damaging HALEs and consumers without any valid legal basis. Yeah, that was a very well-written amended complaint. Very well written and very throwing a lot of people under the bus. And it was yeah. I did set a goal yesterday, and I made more super chats and more people talked, more gifted memberships and everything when I didn't have a goal. I don't like setting goals because I do feel like a grifter when I set goals. Like I said, no offense to anybody that does. I just feel weird. Oh. Hey, Gary. Hey, Heidi. Heidi. That feeling when I've been working nonstop to do the van life stuff. Oh, shoot. I mean, plaintiff's complaint contains over 150 paragraphs, again, 1 through 6, 19 through 55, 165 through 172, which address Lee's specific acts. These allegations are more than sufficient to put Lee on notice. Same thing. Even if the heightened pleading requirements of Rule 9b. Plaintiffs have adequately alleged the causation and damages. Complaint alleges that plaintiffs are damaged by Lee's unlawful conduct by losing revenue streams and auction sales that otherwise would remain with them absent Lee's interference with plaintiffs' valid business relationships. This allegation establishes a causal connection between Lee's conduct and plaintiff's damages. And that's all you need is a causal relationship right now that is plausible. And this is not only, I think she thinks that this is only like Olite and whatnot, and it's not. Like, she can make a claim that like she didn't contact them. Facts, all facts aside, she could make a claim that I didn't directly contact blah de blah or this or that. It's fine. But it's still, when you basically tell people to stop supporting another person, when one YouTube channel tells their viewers to stop supporting and actively tear down another YouTube channel, every YouTuber with a monetized channel is a business. So when you go and you talk shit and you literally say, go do this or go do that, or he is this or she is that, and you cause them to lose revenue, that is partially what Jeremy is alleging. You are interfering with someone's business when you are another business telling people to not support. It's just, yeah. And I'm not going to get into, because I don't remember. There's too much for me to actively remember about who contacted who when. I don't watch people's streams that I can't stand. People that don't like me, I don't watch their streams because I don't waste my time with people who don't support me. I don't support them. So I don't watch the what the HALEs anybody. I don't even hate watch, because that, no offense to the people who do, but I got more shit to deal with than, like, I've got a practically critically ill significant other to deal with. He thinks he's not critically ill, but I guarantee you after our procedure next week, he'll be having some sort of surgery. I can pretty much guarantee that. So I'm not going to get into, I use it as generalizations because I know certain things were done, but I can't cite specifics because I just don't give two fucks. In the sense of, if you fucked up, you fucked up. It doesn't matter exactly the detail to which you fucked up. Squid is on fire today. She's earning that glass of spicy grape juice for after the chat. I have another stream after this, in which I'm going to let Spawn do all the talking so I can shut the hell up for once. This is why I'm so fucking lazy about checking up on people. So lazy. Yes, I'm lazy. Let's be honest here. When it comes to watching people I don't like, I'm barely got enough time and energy to do the shit I need to get done. Yeah, that's a rabbit hole. I like to jump down a rabbit hole every now and then, but I ain't got enough climbing gear and enough scuba gear in the world to get out of that one. Yeah, 0 flux given. Exactly. I, But this is one of the reasons that no matter who I might get along with or not get along with, I tend to keep that shit to myself, and I will never tell you who to not watch, or this person did this or this person did this, because that is tortious interference with business relationships. Because at the end of the day, a YouTube is a business, and every monetized channel is a business, and the members and subscribers are the client or the clientele, and we not gonna do that. We not gonna do that. 321 squats at 75 or 70, 75 and 80%, and then 21-15-9 of wall balls, 20-inch box step ups, and it was supposed to be box jumps, but I'm fat. and American kettlebell swings with a 35-pound kettlebell. And then rest 2 minutes, and then 9, 15, 21. Same thing. So, Ugh. I got up at 3 o'clock this morning, so if I didn't go to the gym, then you would really call me a fat ass. Oh, and I got my little pull-up TRX thing. So start working on them pull-ups. Zach, I signed up for a Turkey Trot 5K, so now I have no choice. That is a workout in itself. All right. All right. In the context of allegedly false or misleading statements, a plaintiff need not provide reliance on the defendant's allegedly false statements, but rather a plaintiff must simply prove that an objectively reasonable person, this is where you go wrong if you're talking about the anti-what the HALEs, because I don't know any of them people, some present company excluded, who are reasonable. Not the YouTubers, but some of the people in chat can be reasonable, but Zach, you crack me up. An objectively reasonable person would have been deceived. And I think that's where Flesa goes wrong, is she doesn't know what an objectively reasonable person is because she ain't one. She doesn't surround herself by reasonable people. She wouldn't know a reasonable person if it never mind. We're gonna stop right there. Oh, we're gonna stop right there. Davis v. Angel Care. While this is a Connecticut decision under Florida Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act, a plaintiff is also not required to prove reliance on the defendant's allegedly false or misleading statements. I can be. I choose not to be sometimes, but I can be. Oh. Instead, the standard is that a plaintiff must demonstrate that an objectively reasonable person would have been deceived by the defendant's actions. This objective test is applied to determine whether the alleged practice was likely to mislead a consumer acting reasonably under the circumstances. In Haney v. Costa del Mar, the court reiterated that Trade Practice Act employs an objective test to determine whether a practice was likely to deceive a consumer acting reasonably. The court cited that case to affirm that the question is not whether the plaintiff actually relied on the alleged deceptive practice, but whether the practice was likely to deceive a reasonable consumer. And honestly, as much as these laws are kind of plain and simple, when laws use reasonable consumer, that's a debate point. Like that's a point of legal debate. What is reasonable? What is common sense? Because we all know common sense ain't common. So what is it? My dad and I had a conversation earlier about finances and like learning finances in school versus your parents teaching you things. And it's like certain things that I learned in school aren't, like, I learned how to balance a checkbook in like 6th grade. Not applicable these days because very few people do it. It's just, it's, yeah. The court cited the General Motors to support this standard. To establish the unfair practice, the plaintiff must show it is one that offends established public policy. One again, another subjective word. And one that is immoral, unethical, oppressive, unscrupulous, or substantially injurious to consumers. Moreover, to establish an unfair practice, the plaintiff must show that it is one that offends established public policy and one that is immoral. Yeah, you got that. Such as the circumstances here. In Corrigan v. Walmart, Walmart was sued. Shocker. The court explained that Trade Practices Act is designed to protect consumers from deceptive or unfair practices and employs an objective test to determine whether the practice is likely to mislead a reasonable consumer. I like Randy, but some of these are like, and I understand it, but it's every time. It's like I'm repeating the same sentence over and over again. Bubbles is still there trying to build a case, but not publicly. His attorney probably told him to shut the fuck up. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. His lawyer, uh, it is funny though that the only two people with that lawyered up were the lawyers. Coincidence? I think not. All right, court cited Dolphin LLC to outline the elements of a claim, which include a deceptive act or unfair practice, causation, and actual damages. Although the act does, I'm just going to refer to this as the act because quicker, does not explicitly define the term deception. The provisions of the act are likely to be construed liberally. Florida Statute 501-2 or .202. Plaintiffs' allegations that Lee's voluminous statements were likely to deceive a consumer acting reasonably in the same circumstances easily satisfy this standard. I agree. Ugh. Moreover, when competitor businesses, rather than consumers, press a claim, lost profits, lost revenue, reputation harm, and to Jeremy, this right here is everything. Because when you're like, YouTube is a big company and has lots of creators, but at the same time, lots of people know people who you wouldn't think of. Like, I've seen some of y'all in chats that of people who have nothing to do with any of this. And it's like, it's a small world. So, reputation is everything. And if you have a reputation of being what they try to accuse him of being, you weren't in yesterday's stream, but we were talking about a something came up and I can't remember, and my pretty was like a stuck pig. And I was like, I couldn't imagine. All I could see was like Lisa with an apple in her tooth. And now I can't unsee it. And now because I can't unsee it, y'all can't unsee it. Think about that when you try to sleep tonight. Come on. Oh, don't be stupid. There we go. I was like, don't be stupid, StreamYard. Please don't be stupid. StreamYard's being funny today, as opposed to any other day. Moreover, when competitor businesses, rather than consumers, press a FDUPT claim, lost profits, revenue, reputation harm, and other damages commonly observed in business tort claims constitute actual damages. And this is the other thing. Competitor businesses. People, she claimed, well, I don't do the same content as Jeremy. That's not the point. You're a YouTuber. You're automatically, because there's only so many hours in a day that someone can watch YouTube. So technically speaking, every YouTuber, most people, it's a friendly competition. However, it's YouTuber. It's, we're all YouTubers. We're in competition with each other for views, watch hours, super chats, ad revenue. There's only so much money to go around. So whether it's a friendly competition or people hate each other's guts, two businesses on the same platform, automatically competition. It's just it. Yeah, that's true too. Hold on, I gotta respond to a message. Yeah. Fucked up to. Uh, okay. Lee's conduct falls within the scope of trade or commerce. And I think this was another contention point that we were asking questions about. Lee argues that her conduct does not constitute trade or commerce as defined by the Act. However, the Act defines trade or commerce broadly to include advertising, soliciting, providing, offering, or distributing, whether by sale, rental, or otherwise, or any good or service, or any property, whether tangible or intangible, or any other article, commodity, or thing of value. Plaintiffs allege that Lee solicited donations under false pretenses and made false statements about plaintiff's business in the course of her YouTube live streams. These activities fall within the broad definition of trade or commerce under the Act, particularly given the statute's directive that it shall be construed liberally. Keyword. The survey says we'll talk about it next Tuesday, but it wasn't her. I mean, it was with the help of a computer. It was either watch Squid or Funny Cat videos. God, I told Squid. I appreciate it, but I probably would have watched the Funny Cat. Like, my dad was here and he wanted to show me something on my stream, and I was like, "You have to stop. Like, I can't listen to my own voice." Yeah. He's something. Ugh. This right here. Please set your devices to all chat so you see everything. YouTube defaulted to all chat. Or Angel, you want to FaceTime Grandpa? Lee argues that plaintiff lacks standing under the Act because they are not aggrieved consumers. The argument misinterprets the statute. Shocker, but people misinterpret her, or people think she's a lawyer all the time, right? Last time I checked, lawyers, even Bruce, have teeth. Thought lawyers generally have insurance and go to the dentist. Just a thought. I mean, just a observation. Hey, Musi. Sorry, that was mean. Funny, but mean. Oh, thank you. I picked Squid because I have housework to do and I can listen to Squid while I do that. Appreciate that. I hope I make housework a little less boring. What is teeth? I don't know. You're marine. They're usually the thing that go in your mouth, but you probably punched them all out during some drunken moments. So, you know. The argument misinterprets the statute. The Act allows claims by entities harmed by. Do you want to FaceTime Grandpa now? Okay. Okay, take it. Hold on, I have to turn down the volume. Oh, everybody say hi to Papa Squid.
Hi, everybody.
All right, Angel.
Going to the living room.
Hey, Angel. Go on. She's not going to do it. There. Maybe she'll take it and run. All right. Hey, Musi. My house is haunted. By the way, she's in here with me and something just walked by the door. That was weird. That was weird. Oh, that was weird. Oh, that was weird. That was not me making shit up. That was like I looked out of the corner of my eye and saw something walk towards her room, and Mr. Squid is at work and she's in here with me. We don't have pets. So give grandpa hugs and kisses. Go on. There you go. Oh. All right. That was creepy. Yes. Musa Lady has a great channel. This allows claims by entities harmed by unfair, deceptive practices in trade or commerce, even if they are not direct consumers. Broward Hospital distributors. In construing its state statute, Florida's district courts have held that an entity does not have to be a consumer in order to have standing to bring a claim. Caribbean Cruise Lines. Because the district alleged that defendants' unfair and deceptive practices were likely to cause consumer harm, its claim can proceed. All this allowing non-consumer standing because Florida state courts have ruled uniformly that non-consumers can bring the act or trade practice actions. However, there's more. While the plaintiff does not need to be a consumer, they must still demonstrate that the alleged unfair or deceptive practice caused harm to consumers. A plaintiff does not need to be a consumer to pursue a claim under the Florida Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act. The 2001 amendment to Florida Statute 501.211 replaced the term consumer with person, thereby broadening the scope of who may bring a claim under the Trade Practices Act. Courts have consistently held proving an injury or detriment to consumers is a necessary element of the claim, even when the plaintiff is not a consumer. Stewart v. Arrigo enters. The court emphasized that a claimant must show that a consumer was injured or suffered a detriment to satisfy the elements of the claim. Here, combined with over 150 paragraphs of factual emphasis added, allegations in the complaint, including without limitation 1 through 6, 18 through 54, 165 through 172, which address Lee's specific acts. Right there. Plaintiff's complaint alleges that Lee, as a plaintiff's competitor, she keeps trying to complain that she's not claim that she's not a competitor. She is. She's my competitor. She's Megan's competitor. She's Mr. Beast's competitor. She's even people she doesn't watch and she's never heard of before. I was on the Enterprise. I've seen way more than I care to. Side note, I walked out in a catwalk one time to just look up on deck real quick, and there were some people sitting, I'm sure they were grapes, sitting in, or what I thought were grapes, sitting in the catwalk because there was a fuel line there. I was out on the catwalk for no more than like 10 seconds just to look up to see where something was. And I come down and they're gone. Like, you didn't have time. I would have heard you open the watertight door to get back into the ship. There's just one example. But that was a little different. This is my house. I'm like, hey, Flash fan. Good stream earlier, Flash fan. If you don't know, Flash fan does trial streaming on Discord in his Discord server. It's amazing. He did the Cardi B trial recently and today. All right. Plaintiff's complaint alleged that Lee, plaintiff's competitor, engaged in deceptive practices, including soliciting donations under false pretenses from consumers, which caused harm to consumers, making false statements about plaintiff's business, which caused harm to plaintiff's reputation and business relationships. And honestly, no one wants to do business with someone who's got drama following them everywhere. So I can see Jeremy and businesses not wanting to work with Jeremy right now because of all the drama. That's another thing that people are like, oh, he's just bringing this for YouTube content. You're more likely to get sponsorships. I don't know. I don't have any sponsors. If anybody wants to, let me know. However, you're more likely to get a sponsor if you don't bring drama wherever you go. And right now, through no fault of Jeremy's, it's drama. And it's drama, drama, drama. And one of the reasons that I highly doubt that he does this for YouTube content is, although he might be getting some increased viewership occasionally from this, the money he's losing in potential sponsorships must be huge. I'm sure, obviously, he knows more about it than I do. I don't have access to his financials, and I'm never claiming to. However, from just having bigger channels talk about how many people email them, it's kind of one of those, like, yeah, Jeremy's channel was growing until Flea since it stopped. But also, Terry, think about this. If he was getting maybe, and I know people, come on, Crayola sponsor Squid. Yeah. If it's one of those situations of, like, say you get 10 emails a week from potential sponsors, you're not going to take every single one of them. But now somebody watches your channel, someone who was, like, excited to sponsor you watches your channel, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to pass. This seems like a lot more drama than it's worth, and I don't know if it's worth my investment in that channel to have my name associated with drama. So I wonder how many sponsorships he's not getting because of all of this. So you have to think about that too. Like, he might have that information. I was getting 20 emails a week from potential sponsors. Now I'm getting 2. He can claim lost revenue depending on what those emails said and how much they were worth. Yeah. Crayola 64 pack, otherwise known as an MRE. Oh, eat the crackers with no water. Oh. Ugh. Yeah, Jeremy lost subscribers. His channel used to be higher. Yeah. And I know ad revenue is not much. It's like a few cents per ad. But when you have 700,000 subscribers and you maybe say you get 20,000 views on a video, it's a pipe dream. Right now, I'd be happy with like 3K on every video, or 1,000 on my with the HALES videos. I would be over the freaking roof. Not with anxiety, with this, being ecstatic. Like, yeah, the sponsorships will be brought up in court cases. And that's one of the other things that it's fascinating. All of this stuff that gets brought up in my mind have really nothing to do with the out of court, like, not the out of court stuff, but like people throwing themselves in. It's like, when you say he hasn't lost any revenue, but how do you know? Like, they keep trying to claim he's lying. He's just doing it for YouTube content. And I'm like, no. There's much other easier ways that I'm sure he could get content and make money than this crap with the amount that he's spending. And the freaking headache, like 17 cents each. 17 cents might not be much, but 17 cents over 25,000 views adds up. And then, 7 videos a week, it really adds up. Yeah, that's not counting lost views on the videos he posts about the lawsuits. He gets more on the storage units, and that's where he's having fun. Yeah, storage unit stuff's not really my cup of tea, but I did my first football. Yeah, this girl did a college football stream on Sunday night. Holy hell. I needed to vent because Mr. Squid was sick. So I didn't have my normal person to vent to about all the games and So I decided to make a live stream, and I talked to YouTube I mean, it only has like 100 and some odd views, but I don't think I did too bad for being a fan and not an analyst. I don't claim to know the X's and O's and how to play call. I just know what I like. Oh, Flash fan. Good thing you're like my little brother. Because, yeah. All right. uh, uh, Plaintiffs have adequately alleged deceptive and unfair practices. Plaintiff's complaint clearly establishes Lee as an interstate commercial competitor who engaged in deceptive, unfair trade practices in violation of the act. Yeah, welcome to YouTube channel with people who send you super chats from out of state or out of the country. There we go, interstate commerce. You know. The complaint specifically alleges that Lee is a competitor of HALE's for internet sales and marketing. Thank you, Randy or Doreen or whoever wrote this. Thank you for putting it in a way that my cognitively impaired brain could not compute. Internet sales and marketing. Oh, Terry, I love you, but go dogs. Ugh. Happy birthday. Go Bears. It was nice chatting with you all. And I wouldn't block you for that. If I blocked you for that, it would save me the entertainment of making fun of you when they lose. Somebody last night was like, I'm not gonna argue with you, go ahead and block me. When all I did was make one comment. And they were like, well, you always want to argue. I'm like, okay. What did sorry if it came across that way. Like, okay. I'm like, okay, we'll just go with that. All right. As a host and or operator of a YouTube channel called Two Lees in a Pod and other social media platforms, including Without Limitation, Instagram, Twitch, blah, blah, with a current YouTube subscription base of over 3,000 people, this directly contradicts Lee's assertion that she and HALE's are not business competitors. So that was what I was trying to say. It might be friendly, it might be non-friendly competition, but you both have a YouTube channel. That's like watching Ohio State and Texas. See which both people could lose. She's not a troll. That's like Robert and Kesha showing up and say "Go Gators" all the time. They know I'm a Georgia fan, so they say "Go Gators" just to F with me. It's what we do. It's what we do. It's what sports fans do. We make fun of each other's teams and how bad they suck. Three Awesome Dogs, you're a Lions fan, so I really wouldn't start, talking about Bears fans being misguided. You aren't much better, my friend. Huh. You might be good the last year, two, but over the last 25, over my entire lifetime, let's put it that way, the Packers have ruled the NFC North. Thank you very much. Just saying. Okay. Getting back to this. The complaint further details people who subscribe to Lee's social media platforms often pay monthly fees to Lee for premium access to Lee's social media platform. And that Lee accepts and seeks online tips and donations from her online viewers. These allegations establish that Lee is engaged in interstate commerce. See, when you take a super chat from someone who doesn't live in the same state as you, that's interstate commerce. It's not rocket science. Although I do have a few people that could probably be good at that too. But interstate commerce is not any internet. Any internet transaction that is from a business that is not in the state that you reside in is interstate commerce. It's not rocket science. Like, I mean, I'm not a lawyer and I can still tell you that. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, and it's kind of obvious. The name, the definition is in the name. I don't know. I don't know. The allegations establish that Lee is engaged in interstate commerce and is in direct competition with HALES in the social media influencer market. And I'm going to get to these super chats and member chats. Diane Chase, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Set goals collected, like where I missed the last part of that. And then say rule 9B one more time, mother fadoopta. There's the new phrase. Ah. And Calvin, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Hello. Hello to you too. Y'all's names look good in green. I'm not gonna lie. And Sonny or Chris, member for 3 months. Go Tigers. Well, you know. Y'all did beat Clemson on Sunday night. See, I do watch college football. I do. I even did a top 10, and 9 out of my 10 teams were correct. I did a top 10. I don't have the analysis skills to strength of schedule and can do all top 25. I winged it and I did top 10. 9 out of the top 10 teams were right. Some of them were just in the wrong order. I think I got 4. I put them on the Discord. I put Squid's top 10, and then when the AP poll came out, I put the actual top 10. I got all but 10. I put something. I think I put Florida, and it was South Carolina. So I gave Florida some credit. And thanks for the $4.99 super chat. I'm no Saints fan. I grew up with a paper bag over my head, but I will still talk trash. And that's half the fun. Sometimes it's not about whether your team wins or loses. It's just being able to talk shit to your friends and laugh. Like, popping in late, the judge assigned Randy to be the one to notify the court of the bankruptcy status. And I know he did for updates every so often, but I wasn't sure if that extended to it being dismissed too. But when you say it out loud, it's like, well, duh, yeah, you're right. Seems kind of stupid when you say it out loud and you're like, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, forgot to tell you, someone mistook you for Jamie on Baker's channel. I've been called worse. Jamie's awesome. I hope she's not offended by that. That's funny. Yeah, nothing like talking trash with friends. Like, I watch college football more than the NFL. I just watch my Packers because they're my Packers. Angel, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I don't know. Do you hear that? Where's my phone? I don't know. Marshall University for NCAA. Sorry about Sunday. It had to be done. I would love to stream with Baker, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not part of the cool kids club. I roll with my own, I do my own thing. All right. Plaintiffs have adequately alleged commercial context for false and misleading statements. Complaint alleges Lee made false and misleading statements. Specifically, complaint states Lee is using her online advertising YouTube platforms to make false or misleading statements that damage HALE's reputation and sales. This is where all YouTubers, especially ones who like to try to tear down other channels and tear down other people and say it on their streams or in their videos, should really not this paragraph, I believe, is for y'all. She's FaceTiming me. Your phone is on the living room floor. Thank you. Thanks for the update on where my phone is when you're thousands of miles from me. Mainly by targeting Hale's owner agent, Mr. Hales. These statements were made in the context of Lee's commercial activities on her YouTube channel and other social media platforms. The complaint further alleges that Lee's statements are likely to deceive or have actually deceived consumers. I don't know, like saying somebody threatened you and they didn't. And likely to influence a consumer's purchasing decisions or other commercial behavior against Hales. This establishes the commercial nature of Lee's statement and their potential impact on Hale's businesses. These allegations are sufficient to state a claim under the Federal Trade the Act. Complaint states a claim under Lanham to state a claim for false advertising under the Federal Lanham Act. The party must allege, 1, the advertisements of the opposing party are false or misleading as to the party's own product of another's. 2, the advertisements actually deceived customers or had the tendency to deceive a substantial portion of the targeted audience. And 3, the deception is material, meaning it is likely to influence purchasing decisions. Like if you were to get super chats from someone over and over again, and then people started talking shit about them and saying that they were this and they were that and they did this and they did that and they did this, and then they unsubscribed and stopped sending them super chats. That is deceiving customers because you lied and you deceived customers and you affected that person's business. Claim under the Lanham Act. I'm just saying, this is why you don't talk shit about other people on the internet. You just don't. Like, Yeety McEaterson. Hey everyone. Love the new picture. Like, this is why you don't talk shit about people on the internet. Just saying, this is why you don't do it. The defendant's advertised products traveled in interstate commerce, and the plaintiff has been or is likely to be injured as a result of the false or misleading advertisements by causally related declining sales or loss of goodwill. Declining sales, loss of income, loss of super chats, loss of ad revenue, loss of subscribers. This is why you don't talk shit about other YouTubers, because if people want to be petty and have the money and the finances to be petty, and honestly, some instances, I feel like Randy is doing this so that certain people will never do it again. And in certain aspects of it, I feel like he is being petty because he can, and that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes you gotta be petty. Yeah, the golden rule: don't talk shit about people. WebEx is generally free. Generally, well, I've used it, but I've used it as a user. When I worked for a certain company, they had it, but I've never been the administrator, so I'm sorry. I might be misleading you unintentionally. I'm sure they have a free version. Probably limited. Interstate commerce and competitive injury, not sports. Complaint establishes the interstate commerce element required for Lanham Act claims by alleging that because Lee markets and sells her products online to multiple states, Lee's misrepresentations affect interstate commerce. When you're on the internet, you go worldwide. Guess what? Welcome to interstate and international commerce. This allegation satisfies the interstate commerce requirement of the Lanham Act. It doesn't take much. Interstate commerce is not rocket science. The complaint clearly establishes Lee is a commercial competitor who made false and misleading statements about Hales in a commercial context, affecting interstate commerce and causing competitive injury. Lee contends that the complaint fails to allege false advertising under the Lanham Act because the statements attributed to Lee do not constitute commercial advertising or promotion. I'm sorry, but something as simple as dropping the link for another YouTuber in my stream is advertising and promotion. It doesn't take much to meet the definition of promotion. Hey, Harry, how are you? How did I miss you? It just... This argument is unavailing. Well, I haven't read that document yet, so when we still have 15 pages on this document, so not allowed to grift. Oh, Flash fan, don't you know I'm the biggest grifter in the world? Biggest grifter. But that's the thing. YouTube is fun. It's not all about the money. The money is fun, but it's not all about the money. That's why I do topics that are not like the next stream. It's not the most popular, but I feel like it's important, and it's important to me to get that information out there. If I was all about the money, I would talk about this shit 24/7. This is interesting, but only to a point. I need variety in my life. All right. Because contrary to Lee's arguments, plaintiff's Lanham Act claim are properly pled, as are most of Randy's. If I can understand most of Randy's filings and follow his logic, I believe if a non-lawyer can follow the logic, I believe that's well written and well argued. And that's part of the reason that I read this stuff, is because if I can understand it as a layperson, then I believe that lawyer is good at their job. If someone uses big words and wants to sound smarter than they are and tries to throw in so much case law that like it's hard to read, hard to follow, and someone's just whiny like Bubbles, I don't think that's a good writer. I don't think, and if you're not a good writer, you're not a good lawyer, because that's half the battle. Yeah, the haters don't understand how far their hate spreads, just like the signs. They still say only 3 people saw them and YouTube don't count. Exactly. Grift me, mommy. Grift me harder. Grift harder. Oh, don't steal my grifting job. Yes, Gail, you're the best grifter in the world. Followed up by a few other people. I gotta say though, my dad is the best. My dad's the best one. Oh yes, yeah. Check for if it's an email that has like a bunch of numbers and letters and looks funky, and is sent to more than one person at a time. That's probably a good indication that it's not real. All right. The complaint alleges in connection with Lee's business, Lee used in commerce false or misleading descriptions of fact and false or misleading representations of fact that in commercial advertising or promotion misrepresented the characteristics and qualities and the reputation of HALE's commercial activities. The complaint specifically alleges that Lee's false and misleading statements deceived or have the capacity to deceive consumers into incorrectly believing they are making charitable donations and not for Lee's personal benefit or use and benefit. And here's the thing. This is what I've always made clear and I've been transparent about. Like, I joke that it's Baby Squid's Banana Fund, but like, yo, super chats are classified as income. So if you are donating, so say My Pretty is on my channel. If My Pretty has her own PayPal, whatever, Venmos, that is a her thing that she is able to let people know. People that say donate a super chat, and say it's for another person, y'all, that's not the way that shit works. That's income, and I have to pay taxes on that. So like it's weird because YouTube takes 30%. So you're not like buck naked. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Just because you gotta say Marshall should have won. There we go. So that $5, I'll get 70% of that, which is what, 350 something, 360 something. Quick math. I'm not a math major. Sorry. And then on top of that, at the end of the year, YouTube sends me a 1099 and I have to pay taxes on that. So it's one of those things of like everybody who I try to let people know how the super chat stuff really works, because they're not a donation. They're income. A donation is a different like classification of, according to the IRS, donations and gifts are different than income. So it yeah, you just need to change your lingo to tips, no tax on tips. So it's just one of those things of like, it's just one of those situations of like, I try to let people know, most people know, but like be honest with people, because when I've seen it and they're like, oh, this is a donation for this, or this is a donate, it's not a donation, it's income. There's a IRS legal difference between a donation to a charity, a gift from another person, and an income. And YouTube views super chats and super tips and super thanks as income. So it's like whenever I would see people say, oh, or donations, oh, we donated to the fence, super chat. No, you put money in Lisa's pocket. What Lisa chooses to do with that money is hers. So when she had said it in that motion, the world ended. She hung up on Grandpa. Sorry, she was screaming, and it was like she came in holding my phone, panicking because Grandpa went away. had to take care of that. YouTuber second, Mama first. It's just funny because everything right now is a tragedy. So as much as I don't like Flesa, when she had made the statement, or I don't know if it was in a motion, I can't remember, that that was money for her to do with whatever she wanted with. As shady as that seems, technically speaking, she's not legally wrong. Morally and ethically, possibly. But yeah, you know? Not reading that, but y'all can. Family first, barbecue second, YouTube third. Yeah, barbecue slides in there a good, like, a good pulled pork sandwich slides in there in a third spot. Yeah. So I don't like Lisa at all. However, in that instance, playing devil's advocate, legally, she's not wrong. Morally and ethically, but when people, and this is, and Terry, as far as the fraud, that's where the Lanham Act comes in, and the unfair trade practices, the deception, because I believe she deceived people. I'm positive that she deceived people. because she told people that it was going to go for this or that or this or that. But from a purely income versus donation, she wasn't wrong when saying it's income. It's my channel. Whoever has the AdSense account, that's their income. It's just it's a fine line of like what is morally and legally what is morally wrong might not be legally wrong in certain aspects. Yeah. Yeah, that's where the fraud comes in. But as far as like when she said technically when you give a donation, that phrase, when you give a super chat, that's for me to do what I want with. Technically that phrase is not wrong. The telling people that you were going to do other stuff with it or to put what it was for, that is wrong. But the phrase specifically referring to the phrase, when you give me a super chat, that is my money to decide what I want to do with, paraphrasing her, of course. That is that phrase is not wrong. The deception part is wrong. But like that actual like, you know, that's why when people say it's a donation through super chat, well, technically speaking, yeah, and that's where the unfair trade practices come in. It's the deception. But the actual just taking the phrase out of context that she said, when you give me a super chat, that's my money to do what I want with, that part is true. All right. It's when you add in the other stuff that it's shitty. Oh yeah, that yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. And the only reason my child is on my channel is because I'm a stay-at-home mom and she's here. But I do not make content about her. And I feel like they've been making content and using her for content, which is just that's the tip of the iceberg with the shittiness of that situation. But I don't use my daughter for content. She's on my channel because I have really I never get alone time, y'all. Like, I never get alone time. Y'all are my adult human interaction besides the gym and the grocery store. So, think about that. Y'all are my adult human interaction, which is the reason I love the chat. And maybe when she goes to school and I can get more adult friend time, you know, my in real life friends, that I'll record more videos. But I love talking to the chat because y'all are my adults, you know? Yeah, people make content about their kids. It never ends well. Look at Ruby. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. All right. Regarding the commercial nature of lease statements and their potential to deceive customers under U.S. federal law, Lanham Act defines commercial advertising or promotion as representations made in connection with goods or services that misrepresent their nature, characteristics, qualities, or geographic origin. While the Act itself does not define advertising or promotion, the 11th Circuit requires that representation must meet the criteria of being commercial speech made by a competitor intended to influence consumers that sufficiently disseminate to the relevant purchasing public, and to emphasize that the representations need not be a part of traditional advertising campaigns, but may include informal types of promotion, provided they're sufficiently disseminated. To be actionable under the Lanham Act, the speech at issue must be commercial in nature. Commercial speech encompasses not merely direct invitations to trade, but also communications designed to advance business interest. And then that footnote, these allegations are sufficient to claims under both the Trade Practices Act and Lanham Act. In real life, people suck. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I saw Tug's Facebook post yesterday. Ugh. So, yeah, deception of where the super chats go, aka for fundraiser, then it's illegal in terms of service violation. And that's added, but I was taking that specific where she said that phrase out of context. When you give a super chat, technically speaking, ethically, even if you say it's for a fundraiser, when you give that's one of the reasons that you don't do fundraisers through YouTube. You just don't, when you give a super chat legally, it is that person's income to do what they want with it. Where the deception is where she said she was going to give it, not people in the chat saying, oh, this is for this, or I want this to go here. Because at the end of the day, even if they say that, it's still her income. The deception is where she said, I am going to do this with the money. Y'all send it for this, and I will send it where you want it to go. That's where the fraud comes in. Even if someone says this is for Baby Squid's Banana Fund, one, because I won't see this month's money, I won't see September's money until the end of October. So it's also hard to keep track of where when someone donated $5 for a banana fund, where, hypothetically speaking, or, where the exact amount go, unless you literally just write it all down. And I don't have the time for that. But even if someone says in the chat, this is for this, unless I say and make everybody think that this is exactly where the money is going, it's my money to do what I want because it's my income. That's the weird, that's the weird friggin' conundrum of life. How do people end up making millions on YouTube? Super chats, and ad revenue and sponsorships. When people pay you to make videos that get, and then every time, say you got a link for something. So say I used to have a Built Bar link, but they changed the requirements of how many subscribers you have to have. I used to have a Built Bar link or code. And when people used it, I got a commission. So if you get a 15% commission, someone makes a $60 order, that's just one person. If you have that hundreds and hundreds of times per month, that's pretty. And then you add all this. It's not just one income stream. You have this sponsor, and then this sponsor, and then this sponsor, and then this ad revenue, and then you get super chats on a live stream, and and then you have like whatnot contracts, and you get paid by Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days. So Patrick, thanks for the $5 super chat. Use this any way you want. I would suggest more cockpit training for your aviation expert. Goodness. Well, I was just using that as an example because that's my running joke. But that's the fraud is the wording of, we are going to use this money for a building. If you say, hey, here's $5 for the building, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what someone says in a super chat. It matters what I say. All super chats today are going towards the building. If I said that, building a house, and then I turned around and bought a car, that would be deceiving y'all. But what y'all say when you write a super chat, that's what doesn't really matter. Like, that's the part that doesn't matter in the eyes of the law. So ad revenue adds up, pun not intended, but as much good sponsorship from $1 billion company. I know, right? I mean, just saying. I got my my stuff. First of the month, I got my supply. So Squid didn't take any earned money for your broken toilet. That was Mr. Squid wrote the check for that. Because at the end of the day, he makes money. I don't. Angel. Oh no. He's unavailable. He's not available right now. We'll call him later. It's okay. Go get your pad. Grandpa's not available anymore, baby. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay. Oh my goodness. She's mad because the call dropped with Grandpa, or they said goodbye or whatever. And she's not happy. It's okay, Angel. It's okay. You go get your pad. Oh my goodness. Oh, his phone died. Phone died. Grandpa's phone died. It's okay. It died. You gotta put it on a charger. It's okay. Dry them tears. Tell them tears to go kick rocks. It died. Yeah, his phone died. Oh. All right. Whoop. You want to call Grandpa again? Okay. Hold on, Dad. I have to send somebody a link real quick. I'll call you back in a minute. Hold on. I gotta hold on. There we go. You can have Grandpa back now. There you go. Angel, you can't talk to him sitting on my lap. You want to go to your bedroom? Go show Grandpa your kitchen set? There you go. We successfully called Grandpa back. Baby needs to learn how to point a camera. Well, you know. All right. Sorry, we got the. So I'm gonna go until about 2:45 because I have another stream at 3, and then I will do the rest of this tomorrow. Because this is a lot, and I'm not gonna be able to do 45 pages of documents in 3 hours. As much as I'd like to, I just, even if I was reading straight, a 30-page document would take me 3 hours just reading. So, yeah, there's another document. There's the response to Bone Crusher too, and that's 15 pages. So it's we are gonna go for another about 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna take a break and get something to eat and get something. Take a mama bladder break. So, you sign on with a media company that will promote your channel, then bring you sponsors. I'm sorry. I'm eating some calamari. Sorry, Squid. I know that's all right. I don't like calamari. And if I need to put a new Amazon link, I will look up the Amazon link. Let me fix that real quick. Because I did run this through the AI checker this morning, and it is 0% AI. So let me You ever like, here we go. There we go. All right. And I don't have any sponsors of the channel. I am way too small for that. So, you know, I don't know how big you have to be, but I'm too small for that. What do I know? Oh, right. In order for representations to constitute commercial advertising or promotion under Section 43A1B, they must be commercial speech by a defendant who is in commercial competition with plaintiff for the purpose of influencing consumers to buy defendant's goods or services. While representations need not be made in a classical advertising campaign, but may consist of more informal types of promotion, the representations must be disseminated sufficiently to relevant purchasing public to constitute advertising or promotion within that industry. Yeah, I'll get back down. I'll lose like 2 overnight. It happens. I'll jump up by 5, lose 3, jump up by 1, lose 2. It's like been doing the, plus some of the people that comment, like they hate watch and they wait their time so they can make a shitty comment and then they unsubscribe. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't trust people as far as I can throw them. So yeah, Gail, I posted a new link. So I will tag it and or I'll pin it. The old one was from like a week or 2 ago. So all right, actionable false statements include commercial claims that are literally false as a factual matter, claims that may be literally true or ambiguous, but which implicitly convey a false impression, are misleading in context, or likely to deceive consumers. Sound familiar? It is true that commercial advertising or promotion includes commercial speech by a defendant who is, for the purpose that we read that same paragraph. This paragraph is the same as we literally read above. But the U.S. Supreme Court has held that plaintiffs need not show that defendant was in a commercial competition with plaintiff to have a standing under the Lanham Act. As that case says, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, whereas here a party claims reputational injury from disparagement, competition is not required for proximate cause. And that is true even if the defendant's aim was to harm its immediate competitors and the plaintiff merely suffered collateral damage. Thus, a court cannot dismiss plaintiff's Lanham Act claim on this basis. Declining to dismiss a Lanham Act claim based on similar arguments, explaining that whether plaintiff and defendant are competitors is not dispositive of whether the speech at issue constitutes commercial advertising or promotion. Section 1125A of the Lanham Act extends only to plaintiffs whose interests fall within the zone of the interests protected by the Lanham Act. Lexmark, we've seen this same case multiple times. To that end, a false advertising claim under the Lanham Act requires that a plaintiff plead and ultimately prove an injury to a commercial interest in sales or business reputation proximately caused by the defendant's misrepresentations. The sufficiency of proximate cause allegations turn on whether the harm alleged has a sufficiently close connection to the conduct the statute prohibits. When a defendant harms a plaintiff's reputation by casting aspersions on its business, the plaintiff's injury flows directly from the audience's belief in the disparaging statements. Once again, this right here, I'm going to read this. Emphasis added. This applies, Barbara on a bike, this applies to a lot of people. A lot of people. And if you're hate watching this and you think I'm talking about you, you might need to do some internal reflection. Because when a defendant harms a plaintiff's reputation by casting aspersions on its business, the plaintiff's injury flows directly from the audience's belief in the disparaging statements. It doesn't matter if those disparaging statements are true or not. You know, like if you say that someone threatened you, but you don't show any proof. And when someone does show the proof, it doesn't show anything at all. Just saying. This is why you don't talk shit about people on the internet. This means that plaintiffs adequately allege that their injuries were proximately caused by defendants' alleged false and misleading statements. And when viewed in the light most favorable to plaintiffs, these allegations sufficiently allege injuries flowing directly from defendant statements. Also, in that case, the court set forth a two-part test for determining whether a plaintiff can sue under the Lanham Act: the zone of interest test and the proximate cause requirement. I'm going to get through these, and then I'm going to kind of do my final thought and head on out of here. I do have the stream set up, I believe, to redirect to the next stream. So, and her show is all about hating Jeremy Hales. Yeah, it's probably not a good thing. And that's the thing. It sometimes in some cases, spending the money and what you're going to get out of it might not be equal. You're going to waste a whole lot of money to not get a whole lot of positivity out of it. But in other cases, when you have the means, sometimes you just got to make people pay and kind of suffer just because they're assholes. And instead of being the bigger person and letting shit go, sometimes you got to be petty. And being petty is not a bad thing. I mean, technically speaking, being petty is not a bad thing. Welcome to the pettyverse. I live my life in the pettyverse. When I find something that I know gets under someone's skin and I don't like that person, I will keep doing it because I know it annoys them. That's petty, but it's also funny as fuck. There goes. Being petty is not always a bad thing. Just saying. So being petty is not always bad. There's not always a bad connotation with it. So, but the zone of interest test. To come within the zone of interest in a suit for false advertising under 1125A, a plaintiff must allege an injury to a commercial interest in reputation or sales. This has been shown above. Proximate cause requirement. Proximate cause requirement for statutory standing generally bars suits for alleged harm that is too remote from the defendant's unlawful conduct. To satisfy this requirement, a plaintiff suing under 1125A ordinarily must show economic or reputational injury flowing directly from the deception wrought by the defendant's advertising, and that occurs when the deception of consumers causes them to withhold trade from the plaintiff. Another important thing for people to, when you're talking shit about YouTubers, when YouTubers, monetized YouTubers, are talking crap about other monetized YouTubers and causing those other monetized YouTubers to lose monetary value, illegal, technically a suable offense. Technically a suable offense. And this is right here is why you don't talk shit about people on the internet, because you never know who has the means, the motive, the opportunity, and the pettiness to sue your fucking ass for being an idiot. Flesa, you should have known better. You should have known better. And other haters, you should have known better. It's not that hard to keep your fucking mouth shut. It's really not. You don't like someone? So what? Move on with your life. But no, you wanted to make some money, and now you're gonna have to pay. You wanted to make money. Y'all talked about making money. Y'all say we're gonna make money from this shit. And now, any money that you do make, 99.99% chance that you're gonna have to give it away. Congratulations. Any odds that Belaytho was sanctioned Randy for filing this response to address the defendants before he was told to? But Belaytho, no, he was told to. And technically he had to. This is one of those where he has to. So no, he will not be sanctioned for this at all. In Belaytho's last order, let's see. Wrong case. Belaytho's last order, I believe they give time frames. I think he gave a time frame in which a response was required. It's been a couple days since I looked at it, so yeah, this right here. So this will be where we'll leave off for the day. But with that final question, this was the judge's order. Plaintiff's response to defendant Lee's amended motion to dismiss is due within 14 days. So no, he was the judge literally gave him a timeline for when he was supposed to respond. So no, not a chance in hell. One, Belaytho was not that stupid, and if he was, all Randy would have to do is go, well, you told me to. So, yeah, he was pissy about when they were going back and forth. It was like tit for tat. And also remember, Belaytho was also pissed about started to get pissed off in December with the deposition. So ever since then, he's been pissed off at this case. So it's kind of one of those things of like those motions were kind of in my opinion, I don't know, I'm not in touch with the judge. I don't have forethought, or like I don't have a beam into his brain to know what he's thinking. But if that was me, that would have been the straw that broke the camel's back, was all the tit for tat motions, and things that he shouldn't have needed to respond to. It's kind of a you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because if you don't respond, then the judge could go, well, you needed to respond. You missed your chance to respond. And then if he responds, the judge could go, well, the judge went, well, you responded to a frivolous motion. You should have known that was frivolous. So Randy was stuck between a rock and a hard place, but yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's still pissed. Like, he's pissed about this. Like, I'm sure when Bubbles filed that motion to have him removed, that he was like, please. Because I would have been like, y'all, get me out of here. Find something. Make something up. I don't care at this point. Like, but on that note, we are on page 19 of 31. We will get to the rest of this tomorrow at about 1:30 or about 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. I'm going to the gym at noon. So we will got to come home, shower, try not to look like I just rolled out of bed. Yes. Yeah. I will be back at about 2 o'clock tomorrow to finish this and the other document. And if there's any more, we will cover it tomorrow. I have nowhere to be. So we'll finish all the docs tomorrow. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I do have a setup to redirect to my other stream if the NTSB stuff is things you are interested in. Watch me make fun of the government and tell them how much they suck. So if you think like I'm on the side of the judge here and I'm like, the judge is the government, but like watch how quickly it changes, and me going from thinking that the judge being a positive government employee and these people in this hearing being shitty government employees. Just it can change on a dime. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next one. Hopefully you guys hang out with me and Spawn Trooper over on the other one. We have some interesting conversations. Try to have some levity in the situation, make some fun of people, but always remember that at the end of the day, 67 people in that situation did lose their lives, including 12 children, I believe 12 children. And we always have to be respectful of the fact that people lost their lives, and we just want answers without all the government circle jerking. Anyway, on that note, I will see you guys in about 25 minutes. Bye.